My name is Ben Kogut, and I'm the Director of Investor Relations with HJH Investments. This is Corey Harkleroad, the President and CEO of HJH Investments, and thank you for watching our video. Corey, what is our company mission, and why did you choose that as our mission?
Certainly. Our mission is to protect and then grow investor capital. The protecting the capital is the most important part. When that capital comes in, somebody has worked really hard in order to obtain that capital. And the biggest concern most investors have, whether they say it out loud or not, is not what kind of return they're going to get, although that has value, but is the capital that they've worked hard on to bring to the equation protected? And so that is first. And then, and only after we've protected that capital, do we actually go in and grow that capital. So that's why.
Great. And what should someone expect when they get introduced to HJH Investments?
Yeah, the first thing that we want to do, Ben, is we want to go in and we want to educate. We want to gain, I guess even preceding that, we want to gain an understanding of what the investment goals, what the desires are of the investor as well, so that we can get that understanding so that we know how to proceed, and then educate them on what we do. And if there's a fit, awesome. But either way, protecting that capital and doing what's best for the investor long term is what's most important.
And what do you think is the best way to educate people?
Well, to provide them, as it relates to what we do, we've chosen to film a series of videos, etc., so somebody can go in and gain basic wisdom about commercial real estate, such things as what a cap rate is, etc., through what we do in order to find great deals. Which is a great way to protect investor capital, is to go find a great deal and buy that because you have built-in equity in that property. So all the way through how we find it, through how we do the due diligence to make sure it is what it is, to ultimately providing what an investor return looks like in that deal. So gaining that wisdom process so they can make a great decision for themselves.
Got it. And so why HJH?
Well, I think there's a lot of places people can go that are good quality places to go invest their capital. HJH is just one of those avenues that's available to somebody. I think real estate investments on a macro level is a great place to invest capital because there are a lot of additional benefits by buying real estate. Not only are you getting possibly a cash flow return like HJH provides, but you also get other tax benefits as well, such as depreciation, etc. That helps mitigate some of those gains so that you can use that capital again to go invest in either other things or in your community.
You talk a little bit about what we do at HJH Investments. What do we invest in and why?
Certainly. There are lots of different investment possibilities for somebody looking at commercial real estate, or in real estate in general. We've chosen, instead of investing in absolutely everything and trying to know something about everything, we're very specific. We look at office buildings, retail buildings, and industrial buildings. And we want to make sure that those buildings typically will have a main credit tenant in them, or a very strong tenant, and at least 30% of the building with at least 5 years left on the lease. That's been the premise we bought over the last 5 years and we built the business around. As we sit here, and I know this is something that'll probably be reviewed over a period of time, we're at the end of 2020 and there is a change in the economy that has happened, etc. Sure. And so there will be some shift. Not only are we going to continue to do properties that are very stabilized, but we're starting to look more at value add scenarios because there'll be more deals there and more ways where we can protect and then grow investor capital. And I think that by using the existing investor database who has a great experience with us, as well as the leasing agents and the tenant relationships that we have a real opportunity to add some value to each one of those new properties that we go into. So what we've traditionally done is this. We're going to continue to do that, but we're also going to add that piece of value add where people can make more money in a shorter period of time, although that's not the big focus we have, but that is likely to be the result of it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you often talk about treating our investors preferentially. What does that mean?
So initially what it meant is that they got paid first, right? In any transaction. It means a lot of different things now. including that when we find a property, those who invested with us first or previously get first shot at the things that we have. But going back to the original premise, if you will, preferred return, the first cash flow that comes out of the deal goes to the investors. There's a specific return that we put on each deal. Typically it's going to be 6 or 7 or 8% of the cash flow that comes out of the property, or 8% of what the investment is, will go back to the investor first. And then only after that, only after the investor is receiving a return, does the syndication team participate in any additional cash flow. And if cash flow goes away or is smaller, it leaves an incentive for the syndication team to do what they need to do in order to go take care of that property, to bring the cash flow back up where it should be or increase it over the long term.
Great.
Also, I'll just piggyback on that.
Sure.
When we sell a property, also falls into the preferential treatment. The investors, after we pay off the mortgage and any sales expenses from the transaction itself, the very next thing that happens is the investors get all of their initial investment back. After that happens, then the additional money that's available because of the upside in the deal gets spread across everybody in the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So investors always come first. Cash flow, money comes back first. And existing investors get first access to the deals we do.
Mm-hmm. Let's say there's a scenario where somebody is ready to invest. What's the next step for them to actually do that?
Well, the first and most important thing that needs to happen is that they need to go through our education process. Mm-hmm. And that education process means that they either need to meet with one of us and go through that education process, or even better, they can start that and make our time work better for everybody if they go onto our website and they go through our education series. Depending on your level of sophistication as it relates to commercial real estate, there's some very basic videos at the beginning that say, such as what's a cap rate, all the way through how we do our process, etc. Once they have that education and they understand how we do what we do, a short conversation with Ben or I so that we can have a good understanding of the investment criteria that they are looking for, risk tolerance, the types of things that they have, the amount of capital that they're looking to place. Mm-hmm. Then we can really go to work for them and help them place that capital in a way that, again, protects and then grows that capital.
Once somebody is in the deal, what's it like? What should they expect?
Well, it's interesting because oftentimes we invest in our deals as well, and we get quarterly reports. Communication's very high. If there's something that's great that happens with a property, you're going to probably find that out when we do our quarterly reports, which come out in every January, April, July, and October, along with all the financial background, etc. If something bad happens within, which owning commercial real estate, sometimes you get a tenant, especially during these times where we find out somebody's bankrupt or something along those lines happens, we notify our investors immediately because we want them to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And that comes from me seeing and participating in other people's platforms over the years, and understanding the biggest concern is people just want to know what's going on. If you communicate with people, if you're honest with people, they understand what's going on. They know how to shift and adapt mindset or decision making that they're going to make in the future as well. In addition to that, everybody has access to an investor portal. You can log on at any time and see how your investment is doing, what type of return that you're seeing on that investment. And then documentations like K1s, et cetera, are also available there. So at any point in time, if you've lost the one that's been sent to you or emailed to you, you can log in and have access to those materials.
Mm-hmm. I know you talk a lot about people and the importance of having relationships, and I know that you talk about our company as a family. What does that mean to you, whether it be our company and our investors? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so each one of our team members has been hand selected because they're great at what they do. and they each follow that same mission of protecting and then growing investor capital. More so on an individual basis, so whether it's an investor or not an investor, building strong relationships with people that can make a difference in the world means a lot to me, and being able to go and take some of the capital that even we make and what we do and go be able to make a difference not only in our community but across the world means a lot. Individual investors, etc. Both Ben and I we're both very accessible. It's very important to me that people always have access to Ben and I. We travel a lot, we do work a lot, and there may be a time you can't reach me or you can't reach Ben, but you can almost always reach one of the two of us. And as we've grown, that's been a staple, and that won't change. We're always going to be available to answer questions and to be able to help.
Nice. Is there anything else that you think, excuse me, is there anything else that you think is important for people to know about us and at HJH Investments?
Yeah, I mean, if you watch some of the other videos on there and that relate to where we came from, that's available to you as well. Why we've made the decision to be in real estate in general and to do what we do every day. I think there's a good video that you can log on to our website that's available to you as well. That'll answer a lot of those questions. But why HJH was your question?
Yeah.
There's a lot of choices we all make in life, and being surrounded by people that care, that are going to make a difference, that have a good, solid foundation, value system, and taking care of honesty, integrity. That's there, and there are other choices that are available to people, and this is just one of them. But those are things that you can count on when you invest with HJH.
I'll add that we're happy to speak with anybody. We have no desire to push anybody into a deal. That we're here first and foremost to answer your questions, and education is really the best way to alleviate the fear of the unknown. And so, just wanted to make sure that everyone understands that's my job in particular, is to teach. And that's one of the things that I didn't know so much about myself prior to doing what I do now, is how much I enjoy teaching. And so just wanted to reiterate that there is no such thing as a dumb question, and that we're here to help you with your goals along the way.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what you said too, from a pushing standpoint, et cetera, each one of our deals stands on its own. You're not investing in 20, 30 deals and you don't know what you're going to get. You have to really make a decision on what you like. Diversification and spreading across the three things that we buy: industrial, retail, and office. I strongly encourage that. That's always a win in any investment decision-making process. Mm-hmm. Yet each deal comes out and decisions going to be made, each deal by each person, as to whether or not they like that and they are interested in investing in that deal.
Great. Well, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I'm just grateful for everybody's time. It's the most valuable thing that we have, and I appreciate everybody taking that time and spending some of that with us today. If you have any questions, our contact information is available on the website as well, and we're available to answer those questions.
I'll look at that. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Thank you.